Hello, I'm Hugh Miller and I'm going to sing you a Methodist hymn from the mid-18th century written by Charles Wesley. It's set to a tune from the 19th century called Idumea, written by Ananias Davison. And as Idumea, it's become very popular in the Sacred Harp tradition in the States and also in the British folk revival. And for a long time all I knew about Davison was he had his great name, Ananias Davison, and had written a lovely tune. But I've had a bit more time lately, so I've found out a bit more about him, and I think it's quite an interesting story. Davison was a printer in a small town, Harrisonburg in Virginia, at the beginning of the 19th century. Here's a picture of him. And he was also a music teacher and a choir leader. And he was active in promoting the Sacred Harp style of harmony singing in the South, and also in promoting shape note notation. Shape note is where different notes of the scale have different shapes. So do, re, mi have different shapes, like a square or a triangle on the stave. And this means that singers can sing from the music, but they don't have to bother much about key signatures or even really where the notes are on the stave. And Davison's company in the early 19th century bought a set of shape note fonts, which must have been quite a big investment, because if you think about it, you're going to need a different piece of type for every shape of every note in every point on the scale, so there's a lot there. And in 1816 he produced a set of shape note Sacred Harp arrangements called the Kentucky Harmony. And here you can see his shape note arrangement for Idumea. Now all that's quite interesting, but the thing I really liked about Ananias is that he's said to have gone out and taken local traditional tunes and then used them as the tunes for his hymn settings. And it's said that Idumea comes from tunes. Some people say Lord Thomas and Fair Ellender, some people say Lord Lovell. I haven't found either of those with an Idumea-like tune there yet, but I'll try and do a bit more research. So that made me think that a century earlier he was a sort of down-market version of Ray Vaughan Williams, who also went out and took traditional tunes and turned them into great hymn tunes, like The Blacksmith and To Be a Pilgrim. So I think Ananias was doing really good stuff, and I've recently got a download of a Sacred Harp songbook which has got a lot of his music in, and I'm going to be working through those to see if I can find some other good tunes which are just as good as Idumea. There's no fancy video in this version, but I have used illustrations by Gustave Doré from the middle of the 19th century, a set of illustrations that Doré did for Dante's Divine Comedy, which seemed to fit. So here we go, Idumea, and I hope you enjoy it.
And am I born to die, to lay my body down, and with a trembling spirit fly unto a land unknown, a land of deepest shade, untouched by human thought, the dreary regions of the dead, where all things are forgot. And when from thence I go, what will become of me? Eternal happiness or woe shall then my fortune be? Roused by the trumpet's sound, I from my grave shall rise, and see the Judge in glory crowned, and see the flaming skies. And shall I leave my tomb in triumph or regret, a fearful or a joyous doom? a curse or blessing meet? Will angel bands convey their brother to the bar, or demons drag my soul away to meet its judgment there? Must I from God be driven, or with my Saviour dwell, to come at his command to heaven, or else depart for hell?